We back. I told y'all, boy, we staying consistent every single day. Y'all gonna see a lot of YouTube videos from me, bro. I appreciate y'all boys tuning in, man. Don't forget to join the Discord link in the bio. Keep showing support to the TikTok. Keep supporting the YouTube. I'm gonna keep these videos coming for y'all who want to see long form videos. We just gotta keep building the brand, building the following. And I got y'all, bro. I'm telling y'all, we gonna stay consistent. But y'all already know what this video about. Yair, he's a duck, and it gets to a point. Like, you know, me, I used to be a big Yair guy. Like, Yair was my favorite featherweight at one point. You know, I even was going to pick him to be vote. I'm glad I did it. You know, looking back at how that fight went. But dog, Yair, he isn't embodying the Mexican spirit, the Mexican, you know, motto of like fight or die, like go to war. And I get it. I understand from a certain perspective. Like, if you have a title shot or a #1 contender fight, you're going to take the title shot, of course. But that's also on the UFC. You know, you don't promise anybody a title shot when it's like, when they are, especially if they already fought the champion, lost to the champion, got finished by the champion. You just don't do that. It's kind of like, you know, it's and like, you don't do it. And I know it was some incentive of him taking that Pitbull fight, and I knew it was going to be like, oh, I got to get them this title shot. You want me to fight this unranked guy from Bellator? You know, because that's a new matchup for Vote, but he ended up beating Pitbull pretty decisively. But dog, it started at the UFC 314 press conference where, you know, everything was cool until like they asked Yair a question about Diego representing Mexico, and Diego booted up and they started going back and forth and, you know, talking, chirping back and forth in, you know, Spanish. And ever since then, the tension's been high. Diego been calling him out for like a good little minute now, but Yair, he has like came out and openly said like, he doesn't see a point in fighting him. He wants to only fight for the belt. He said he'd rather fight him in the street. I'm gonna pop it up on the screen right here and let y'all read it, where he said, you know, I only want to fight him in the street. That he sees no point in fighting him like nowhere else. The exact quote is, Diego started off saying, "Where is the man who was in front of me at the press conference?" And then Yair said, "I'd rather fight him in the damn street, because for me, a fight with him in the company doesn't do anything. I'm gonna finish though." Then Diego responds and said, "Fighting in the street? No, bro, I don't recommend that. It's better to have a referee involved." And let's go on Yair saying a fight in the company doesn't do anything. Bro, what? If you fight Diego, who just fought for the belt, and you beat Diego, that cements you as the #1 contender. When there isn't any other contenders at featherweight that's really making any like crazy jumps at the top, that is. Gene Silva's on his way, but he's like ranked number 13, number 11, something like that. Lerone Murphy, he's right there, but he needs a big fight. So looking at it, bro, if you beat him when you're already on a 1-fight win streak, being that high ranked of a contender, being somebody who just got out of title fight, you're going to get that next title shot. But instead, it's like Yair says a fight doesn't make sense. And it kind of, what doesn't make sense in him saying that the fight doesn't make sense? It makes all the sense. That's the fight everybody wants to see. It's a clear duck. Again, Diego called him out once again on his Instagram. I'ma read. "Hey, Yair, I just heard you got a call from Hunter and refused to fight me on UFC Noche. Where's the man in front of me at the press conference?" There it is. Stamped. Diego really wants this fight. And you could tell like he's pushing the issue to actually make this fight happen, because that fight makes the most sense. Now I can see if they were doing a UFC Noche as a pay-per-view, then you needed like a Mexican in the main event and him and Vote. Okay, you're going to have to do it. But now it's no excuse to do him versus Vote. The only thing that's left to do for Noche as a main event is the one guy who is Mexican and represents Mexico, and the other guy who represents Mexico, but, you know, is Brazilian, but he trains in Mexico. You know, it makes the most sense. That's a #1 contender fight, clear. 5 rounds. They get to settle their score, that they settle what they started at the press conference. That makes all the sense. But it's like somehow the UFC will find a way to fumble this matchup. Like, how would you find a way to fumble this matchup? That makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. But looking at it, I'm like, dog, if Yair beats Diego, he's undeniable. If Diego beats Yair, he could find himself right back in a title fight. That who wouldn't want to see that again? That was a good fight. Him and Volk was scrapping, especially with no other clear contenders. I could see him getting like having to fight somebody else, but then again, it's all about timing. Volk wants to get another one for the end of the year. He's not going to fight in September, so October is looking like he's going to maybe get on that card. And I can see like him versus, you know, I don't know, but I don't know. Being real, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But honestly, the division needs to sort itself out, and it starts with these two. They need to fight each other. Like, Diego will fight anybody. He said he will fight Pico. He'll fight Mazar, he'll fight Gene Silva, he'll fight Yair. He doesn't care. He wants to fight so he can get back in the title picture. And you know Diego's stupid active. But on the other hand, Yair, who's 1-2 in his last 3, who lost to Brian Ortega off a layoff. Then we know he got TKO'd in 3 rounds by vote, and then beat Pitbull, who isn't ranked, who's 38. His best years are behind him. That's just the fact of the matter. That's the truth. So looking at it, Yair should be one to get this fight because it's somebody higher ranked who just fought for the belt, and you beat him, you're clear. But it's like he doesn't. He just wants to go straight for the belt, and I get why. It's the championship, but I mean, we saw that fight already, bro. Like, it's a time and a place for certain fights, and it's not time for that fight. That's just the truth. Like, I'm not hating on Yair. Like I said, Yair was one of my guys' favorite featherweights, but this is a clear duck from Yair. Like, if that fight doesn't get signed, if that fight doesn't get booked, it's a clear duck, and you can't defend Yair. But I appreciate y'all boys tuning into another video, man. Y'all just keep showing support. I'm gonna keep giving y'all these YouTube videos. We're gonna keep posting these long videos. I'm gonna just let y'all know, when I'm posting them, and y'all let me know what else y'all want to see, and I'm gonna keep them coming every single day. I'm gonna try to get them every day, bro. It's kind of difficult, but I'm gonna find some really good ideas, and I'm gonna bring them to y'all. Got a lot coming. Join the Discord, link in the bio. Keep supporting the TikTok. Keep supporting the YouTube. I love y'all boys, and y'all know, as always, I'm gonna see y'all boys later, man.